ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Brands Hatch. I am Tinus FB. Some of you guys might know me, some of you guys might have never heard of me, but I have been behind the scenes part of Matthew Duffin and Mike's team for a little while, and we talked about a little bit of stuff, but here we are, the moment of truth. Going live for Whodarron Cup round 2 at Brands Hatch in the night, of course. We are looking at Matthias de Munster with a 134.6 and talking about Brands Hatch, everybody. If the car volume, game volume, my mic volume or anything is off, just let me know and we can adjust that on the fly. But as we were talking about the track, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Brands Hatch over here. It's of course located in Great Britain. It's got 3.9 kilometers of length or 2.4 miles. It's 9 turns in a clockwise rotation, and Paul starts on that beautiful ride for of course the Paddock Hill Bend, everybody. But yeah, it's been a mushroom field, as we can read. It's just a little nice addition that I've added myself, but it's been a mushroom field where cyclists and runners did cross-country races against each other in the 1930s, before the first asphalt/tarmac races started in the 1940s, and since then it has become the track that we all know and love, everybody. So that's Brands Hatch for you. But good evening in the chat as well. But yeah, we have seen Matthias de Munster driving, of course, and we do see him in that trusty Mercedes. I have been watching that very wet Hungaroring, everybody, where some of you guys had a little bit of problems with the rain, with the slipperiness of the track. But right behind Matthias de Munster at the moment is Jay van der Ven in the pit lane with that KTM, and very curious what that KTM is gonna do on a track like Brands Hatch, everybody. It's a tricky track, especially for overtakings, for not having a full, clear, visible track ahead of you, just chasing the one in front and hoping they're not gonna catch too much of those curves, sliding off or jumping off. And yeah, Brands Hatch, one of my favorite tracks. Some of you guys will know that, some of you guys will not know that. We do have a couple of names in the list that I know that probably know me, or they don't want to know me. That is not a problem at all. But we've got Jay Wilbrich, and he is currently almost half a second behind Matthias de Munster. And talking about Matthias de Munster, we've already talked about him. Is 1.5 tenths clear of P2 at the moment. And then from Gillies, it's in the Ginetta, it's half a tenth to 8.5 tenths, everybody, to P7, Maarten Post. Going through that list with a couple of minutes of free practice left, and then we're gonna be qualifying, 10 minutes qualifying, I believe. So everybody is gonna get their game on, or gonna have to get their game on pretty fast. We've got M. Herendik, or Herendich, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Both guys, P8 and P9, D Vasic in the Mercedes. Then we've got Aberdeen in the Ginetta as well, and then just outside that top 10 is N room for the moment. We've got B Varga, we've got Garrett Anderson in the trusty Mercedes as well, same as Matthias de Munster, pulling it on to the side right now in a very dark Brands Hatch. We've got N Dosen in P14, and we've got Cherry Moore in P15 for the moment. We've got Popovic in P16 and Jay Lee in P17. Then we've got C. Privet in P18 and S. Krupian in P19. We've got P. Marsden in P20, R. Smith in 21, and G. Leach in P22, everybody. But we're gonna go on board with Matthias de Munster, currently in P1, and have a little look at how dark that Brands Hatch track looks. Coming down Paddock Hill Bend right now, and then up to Druids, everybody. Garrett Anderson in the chat, everybody, and we've got Benedict Varga in the chat as well. Good evening, guys. But we've just taken a left turn at the Graham Hill Bend, and now we're up to Surtees. Very tricky corner. You can take a lot of speed up onto the up onto the straight if you take it right. If you do miss that apex door, if you do hesitate to go on the throttle, you will lose a lot of tense. And now it's down the Pilgrims drop, everybody, and then up to the right through Hawthorne Bend. Coming through Hawthorne Bend, it's the Derek Minter straight and right through the Westfield Bend, and then it's up to the Dingledell. And then it's that tricky Sheens Bend. You can take that corner up onto the right. These GT4s do not bounce as hard, I believe, but believe me, don't test it out. Don't test it out, because you will go straight and you will end up in the grass. And grass on Brands Hatch means you're gonna have a bad time, everybody. Onto the clearways and through Clark Curve. Coming up on the Brabham Straight, everybody. And look outside that window of that Mercedes. It's dark. It's gonna be hectic. A lot of cars in front of you. If you're mid-pack or if you're even behind the mid-pack onto the on the track chasing these guys down, it's gonna be very well, I would say that gets your heart pumping, everybody. It's Brands Hatch. You do not want to be on the grass. You do not want to stay behind people for too long. But Brands Hatch is Brands Hatch, and where are you gonna overtake people? It is very tricky. It is a fantastic track though. One of the best in my personal opinion, and some of you guys will already say, Tinus, shut the hell up about Brands Hatch and just talk about the cars you see on track, and that's what we are gonna do, of course. Taking a look at Maarten Post, who had difficulties on the Hungaroring in the McLaren, was starting on the dry tires in the race 1, and I did have a little hunch, and I do have some inside information that I heard later on, but started on the dry tires in race 1 on the Hungaroring, hoping it would dry up a little bit sooner, but it didn't happen, everybody. Then we've got Aberdeen still on track in the Ginetta KTM, and the Mercedes especially should be very good. But if my money is on a car or on somebody, I would say these two guys at the front. I do know them, of course, and then you've got Klarbull, who I don't know, but I do know Miga. And I do know Post, and Post is usually very strong in the races itself. Qualifying, he might be sandbagging a little bit, but we will see that during quali in about 9 minutes. But these guys at the front, Matthias de Munster, Jay van der Ven, that KTM could be a weapon on Brands Hatch. So yeah, we should be having a great race to watch, everybody. And Garrett Anderson in the pit, also in the chat, so we're gonna skip him for now. And we do have P. Marston in P20 currently. Let's go on board with, let's go on board with P. Marston and see how he's gonna go to 11th Brands Hatch. So we will do an onboard, everybody. See what he's doing with the wheels, see where he's turning in, and see what he's doing with a damp track still. So night, damp, tricky conditions, could be changing. You never know. And that gives you guys a moment to check out what Marston is doing. And I'm gonna just clear my throat for a little bit after being very busy in the new house. I'm switching places, and this was a last minute call in from Matthew. So here we are. Not being as fresh myself, but we will be doing our best to talk about these two races tonight. So I will shut up for a moment, take a sip of my drink, and be back with you guys in a sec. And as I'm taking a sip, we see P. Marston struggling a little bit. It's if I do not know your front name or your first name, everybody, do not blame it on me. I have been I have been watching the streams, I have been watching the races, but I do not know all of your guys' names. So everybody I do know, that's because I do know them, of course. And if I don't know your first name, I'm just gonna use your last name or pronounce your last name as good as I can. But getting ready for tonight's race. We have about 6 minutes left of practice, and Matthias de Munster just coming out of the pit lane, and we have J van der Ven here in that KTM. And just one more time, guys, if my mic is too loud, if you cannot hear the cars or anything, just let me know and we can adjust volumes as we go. And Wainwright, good luck to all the drivers out there tonight. Yes, indeed, good luck to all. Still a damp track, 7 and 7 degrees. And yeah, it is of course tricky. Damp conditions, that first position, P1, starting on the right side, and of course that downhill turn to the right is of course a major advantage. But try and be too quick or try and be too hasty in those first couple of laps as P1, trying to make a little gap for yourself because it's dark and because you've got a clear view, could trick you into going too wide coming out of the first corner, and a P2 or 3 just slipping it up into the inside for T2. So yeah, let's just see what happens. And yeah, if I may say something about myself, or if I do block your box a little bit, I've been trying to join as late as possible to give you guys all the opportunity to have your box in front of my car and not and that I'm not blocking your view. So Macmillan and Falcinelli, if my car is in the way, I'm very, very sorry about that, but I do not race or do not broadcast in spectator mode, and yeah, everybody does it differently, so I do apologize beforehand. But next time I could join even later if you guys want that. This is the nice view. This is I've got a button box for the cameras, and if I join in spectator mode, guys, I cannot use that button box. The button box gives me the option to just quickly go to the cockpit cam, to the hood cam, the chase cam, or just the different onboard cameras, as we can see. So that's a little thing I've been making for myself, and it's good to, or for me, it's good to just quickly switch to cameras and not having to go back to spectator mode or back to garage. Everybody has their own kind of thing, and that's good. It's almost like racing, guys, but some of you may know, I always like to say some guys are fast on the track and some guys become commentators or broadcasters. So I can talk all about you. I might be worse on the track, guys, so do take that in mind. As we see, Clarwell just taking a little break in the grass, coming out of, or trying to go into turn 3, everybody. And Maarten Post still in the pit lane, a lot of guys in the pit lane, and Herendik is coming out with just that car coming in. Oh, very, very close. Matthias de Munster also still on track, trying to improve, and Wilbrink has jumped to P2 in front of Van der Ven in that KTM. So Mercedes P1 and Aston Martin with a Mercedes engine in P2, everybody. We have Van der Ven in P3, Clarwell in P4, and Maiga in P5. Maarten Post is still in P8, and going through the field, B. Varga, who was here, Benedict Varga in the chat as well, in P14 with that Ginetta. And Jason Warner, I do not know if we have a Jay Warner over here, but as soon as I see you. I don't see you, but Jay Warner in the chat, wishing everybody good luck. And Andy Aberdeen is 7th place at the moment. Andy Aberdeen is 7th still indeed. But we're trying to, everybody who is not having that pit lane marker behind his name, we're trying to go and look who is still out on track, and Herendic is on track. Came out of the pit lane and was a little bit in the way for that guy just starting his new lap, but here goes Herendic, everybody. We're gonna go on board, see what he's doing in the last minute or so of this Brands Hatch pre-practice or practice. My opinion, that is a little track limit, everybody, but we will see if it's gonna count, yes or no. Currently 1.1, it is a track limit, everybody. He's not gonna finish that lap, and he is back in the pit lane. Here we have D Vasic. Oh. Through Sterlings, everybody, and then onto the Clark curve. And let's see, is he gonna improve? No, he's not. He's pulling it into the pit lane. We still have guys on the track. We have car number 6 and car number 1 something. My eyes are leaving me alone sometimes, guys. It might even be a number 8. Yes, indeed. Popovic, last guy on the track. As soon as this guy gets a track limit or just punts it off somewhere, it's game over for the practice, and we're gonna go to quali, everybody. So get your setups done. Get your setups on that car and press drive as soon as you can on this Brands Hatch track, because having a clear track is a very great advantage during qualification here. And that's a game over for Popovic, everybody. Steve Gillies, let's go. Damn track, it says in my on my screen, it says wet tires optimum, but we do know you do not want wet tires on a damp track, I believe. There we go, everybody. Popovic coming into that pit lane. We're gonna get ready for qualifying. And here we go.
Green light, give it all you can.
And Van der Ven, first guy on the track, everybody. And what I usually like to do is follow the first guy out on the track, and that's in this case Jay Van der Ven. And we will see what he's gonna be doing. And first quali lap of the day, we will be going into the cockpit, get a clear view of what this guy's first quali lap is gonna be. So if he stays P1 or first guy on the track to start a qualifying run, we're gonna go into that cockpit view and we're gonna see what he's doing in that KTM. And I'm gonna be very curious if he can get that last 1.5 tenths out of that car to just be on P1 in that very unique car that the KTM is. While we're looking at Jay Van der Ven, of course, we see guys close behind, and if I'm not mistaken, that will be either Matthias de Munster, M. Maiga, or Steve Gillies, possibly. Gillies had the first position in the pit lane, so he should not be far behind. ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go on board with Jay van der Ven, starting his first quali lap of today's round 2 of the Whodarron Cup on Brands Hatch. Just hitting those poles a little bit and then onto the second corner, named Druids. Druids, very fantastic name, of course. Reminds me of, I believe, Asterix and Obelix, everybody, the Druids or some shit like that. I don't remember that well anymore, but through the Graham Hill bend and onto Surtees, uphill, left-hander, wide, let that car roll, and then as soon as you're here, foot on that throttle and uphill. Take a lot of speed with you, going down the Pilgrim's Drop and then into the Hawthorne bend, right-hander, going uphill. Let it run wide over that curb and then you're gonna get ready for the Westfield bend. Cut that curb a little bit. Come out very wide if you want to or if you trust that car. And then you're gonna go to the Dingledale and onto Sheens. Cut that curb. Let those left tires just barely hit that grass if you're very brave. And through Sterling's onto the clearways and getting ready for Clark Curve. Trying to take as much speed as you can. Coming onto the Brabham Straight for a good lap time on Brands Hatch. What's he gonna be putting down? 133.6, everybody. So we're gonna see. Matthias de Munster 33.3, I believe, what we saw, and a 33.1 for Maiga. R. Smith is 2.5 seconds. Aberdeen 1.9 seconds behind, but we see Herendik at the moment 32.9, putting it on P1. Of course, we still have 6 minutes left of qualifying, everybody. And looking at Steve Gillies, has not set a lap time yet, but is starting his lap right now. So let's just stay with Steve Gillies, see what's happening around him, see if we can catch something in the background, or when those cameras switch into what's happening in front of him, with a lot of sparks coming from under that Ginetta through of course the Graham Hill bend. And I just can't say it enough. If you do have a problem with the sounds on the stream, if the cars are too loud, if you cannot hear the cars at all, or if you find my voice too loud, just let me know and I will adjust everybody. I will just adjust all the sounds, everybody. That's not a problem at all. It's just sliders and all, so we can just play around and get the optimum sound combination for you. But we see Matthias de Munster doing a 32.4, everybody, putting that car on P1 at the moment, and Maarten Post was very close behind for a moment there, but dropped down to almost 5/10 behind. And then it's Herendik also improving, putting that car in P10 just ahead of Maarten Post. And Maiga dropped down to P4. Was it P1 first and just dropped down to P4. Van der Ven in that KTM almost 8/10 behind P1, and then it's Macmillan almost a second behind, and Wilbrink P6 and 7 and P8 all within a tenth, half a tenth of each other, everybody. Very nice to see. The same is happening at the front. Matthias de Munster still in P1 with a 32.4. You've got Falcinelli with a 2.5 tenths behind, and then it's half a tenth to P3 with Herendik, and then it's 1.5 tenths to Maarten Post. And you love to see it, right? You love to see it. Close gaps between all positions. And especially going down, you have from a second or 7.5 tenths or a second down, you have just tenths, hundreds, sometimes a couple of thousands of gaps between three people, and that's very good. Fastest rookie though at the moment, Cherry Moore, ahead of a couple of silver drivers, so we're expecting a lot of you, Cherry Moore. Go and make these guys at the front sweat. It's good to be sweaty, guys. It's good to be sweaty. And Cherry Moore, we wanna see you put that Chevy to work. We wanna see you put that Chevy to work. But looking at Maiga at the moment, just 0.03 of a second behind P1. Matthias de Munster in that Mercedes. P1 currently 32.4 is still the P1 time, and Maiga is in fact also in the 32.4s, and then we have a gap to 32.6, 6.5 possible. Van der Ven dropped down to P9 at the moment. Maarten Post is almost back at P8 where he was in practice, but Gillies in P6 at the moment. We've got Popovic just behind, just 100th of a second behind Van der Ven. And then we've got a lot of small gaps here as well. 300ths of a second between Aberdeen in 14th and Leach in 15th. We've got 800ths between Garrett Anderson and N. Broom. We've got 300ths again between N. Broom and N. Dosen. We've got Benedict Varga, who is then has a gap of 2/10 again. So a lot of small gaps, and that's what you love to see on a track like Brands Hatch. And even if you're off the pace or not really having a good quality, it's a track where anything can happen. Close racing is very good, and it will slow you down, but mistakes happen often here. So very curious what is going to happen with the grid in that last 1 minute and 36. One more lap to go for some people. Some people might have already called it quits, but those first couple of laps on Brands Hatch after the quali are going to be very interesting. Matthias de Munster, everybody, almost 800s away from Maiga at the moment, but don't count Maiga out, everybody. These two guys are pretty evenly matched. Not just here, I've seen him race a couple of more times, but these guys are very evenly matched, as I said already. Falcinelli is barely behind P3. Wilbrink putting that car on P3, the Aston Martin, with Falcinelli in that BMW just behind. Then you've got Herendic in P5. These three guys, all 3/10 behind, just a couple of hundreds between these guys. So just a little bit earlier on the throttle, a bit of a better entry into the corner can get you just a position. And that's what these guys will probably be trying to do in the last lap of today's qualification on Brands Hatch, the second round of the Whodarron Cup of SimPlay Motorsports. Just gonna go to P1. P1 has just started its lap. Maiga as well. Wilbrink has started a new lap. Falcinelli is in the pit lane already. We've got Gillies, who is still on a new lap. We have Maarten Post in the McLaren, trying to do what he can. And Popovic, the last guy on track. So we're gonna try and go to Matthias de Munster, see if he improves. And he pulls it to the side. So we're done with Matthias de Munster. We're gonna go to Maiga. What is Maiga gonna do? Did he find a 10th or so? Is he gonna put that car on P1? He does not. And Falcinelli dropping down. It's Clarbull who takes P4. Falcinelli falling down the order. And then this is qualification over, everybody. Matthias de Munster in 1, Maiga in P2, Wilbrink in P3 and Clarbull in P4. Then it's the top 5 finisher for the quali, of course, Falcinelli, it's Herendic in P6, Post in P7 and Gillies in P8. We've got Jay van der Ven in P9, and finishing that top 10 is Macmillan. The 11th position is for Popovic, 12th for Leach, and in 13th is Cherry Moore, everybody. 14th, D. Vasic, and in 15th, Mr. A. Aberdeen, with J. Lee in 16th. Then we have the second bronze driver, everybody. Garrett Anderson in P17. We've got N. Dosan in P18 and N. Broom in P9. These two N guys do like to stick together. In the practice, in the quali, you never know. You've got R. Smith in 21st. And C. Privet in 22nd, with the Croupion finishing the order in a P23. And if I was not mistaken, I think we did see one DC, if I'm not mistaken. But talking about all the rounds, this is round 2 of the Whodarron Cup. We do have, of course, I believe that's next week, Kyalami, round 3 on the 17th, I think, of February. Round 3 at Kyalami, very, very beautiful track. And I must say, Brands Hatch, Kyalami, Watkins Glen, these 3 tracks must be one of my favorites on Brands Hatch. Or on Brands Hatch, on ACC, of course. We're gonna go to Mr. Matthias de Munster. We're gonna go into this camera and we're looking down the grid, everybody.
10 seconds.
A green track, but it is dry, so that track with all these cars on the track should be going up to too fast, and then possibly Mr. Stir. Guys, I believe, on the track 22. We had 22 drivers on the track, me being the 23rd, and that's no problem at all. My car is back in the pit box, in the pit lane, and it will stay there the whole race. So Damien Hibbs, these guys will need all their luck for all their best efforts on Brands Hatch. So thank you for being in the chat, supporting these guys. Warm-up lap is always at a snail's pace, guys. You wanna put that throttle to use, right? Warm-up laps are sometimes just very, very slow. But I thought, of course, that my guy wasn't. Yes, he is. He is currently P1. It says here, but that might be because the timings are messed up. Because these guys were not in the right order when they. Came past one of those recognition balls. Going to the last corner, everybody. We're gonna hop into the helicam and we're gonna try and see what's gonna happen in the first corner of Brands Hatch, the Paddock Hill bend. Coming up onto the line, we will be going green any second now, and then it's first turn, downhill, fast right-hander, and sometimes it messes you up. So green, 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 everybody, and we are going for round 2 of the Whodarron Cup of SimPlay Motorsports. pretty nice at the moment. Do we have incidents? Not yet, I was gonna say, but turn 2 is a very interesting place as well. Will we get cleanly through turn 2, everybody? You see flashing already, people not being happy with one another. But for now, it's... Oh, did I just miss something over there? Not sure, everybody. Not sure if you did miss something, but Maiga, the monster, is still in P1. Maiga in P2, and then it's Wilring still in P3. With Clarbo just behind him, then Ginetta and Arendich in P5. Marta Posto still in P7 with that McLaren. I don't know if it does have the speed on this on these short straights to catch these guys in front of me, but it's definitely gonna help defending on the straights. Steve Gillies is just behind in that Ginetta, the G-Reach in that Mercedes just behind. But we're gonna go to Maiga and Wilbrink, very close, and we're gonna try and see what's gonna happen. The first couple of laps will be quite hectic with a lot of small gaps, but as the race goes on, we will start to see a couple of fights that we could be watching. We're gonna hop into the TV cam, everybody, and follow this battle right here. Mercedes versus Aston Martin. With Maiga sticking to that back end of Matthias de Munster as good as he can. Couple of other gaps over here. Oh, turn 2 incident. Arendich and Clarbo had an incident together. Sadly, we missed it, but you can't catch them all, right? That's red slash T. Very. If you stick that nose up on the inside, if you... Oh, these guys just door banging a little bit. Vasic and Lee going off, going wide, coming through. Oh. Whoa, and I believe... Who was that? Was that Garrett Anderson who just had to swerve? I do not believe that was Anderson. Swerving out of the way in that door. And another one going off. Difficult to deal with that, especially if you're going too wide, if you do want to make an overtake. Look at these guys. Top 3, all in one camera. Matthias de Munster still in P1 with that Mercedes. Then it's Maiga still in P2 and Wilbrink in P3. We're gonna stay here for now. We're gonna let the rest of the battles cool down a little bit, and we're gonna watch this top 3 battle for possibly P1. Just sticking those right side tires onto the curbs or onto the concrete just underneath the grass over there. As long as you keep those left tires within the lines, you should be good on track limits. And listen to those Mercedes engines roar, everybody. I don't know if you can hear it, but they do sound amazing. I've seen that AMG GT3 or the AMG cars on the track or heard them. It's absolutely wild, these cars. The sounds they make, the dark, the rumbling noise. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is a very appetizing sound, I would say. We do have a little gap. Marta Post is about 4 seconds away from P3, and Gillies is close behind Marta, and Valcinelli is pretty, I wouldn't say close enough for a move at the moment, but you never know, the timings might be lying to us. So we're gonna take a little quick look. Gillies is dropping back, so he's defending from Valcinelli, everybody. But the thing is, you do not want to miss out on that P1 battle, everybody. Do not want to miss out. Of course you want to catch everything. Of course you do want to show all the small gaps and all the battles. But one battle is on. It's Matthias de Munster, Mercedes, versus Maiga, Mercedes as well. And Wilbrink at the moment is falling back a little bit, but if these guys in the Mercedes start battling a little harder, Wilbrink should be able to come back into that fight and make it a three-man train again. Just see him flick that car to the right over those curves. If you look closely, and you guys know that you guys have been racing this track, you see that concrete underneath the grass. But Wilbrink just having a bit of instability coming out of Sterling's onto the grass and correcting the movement of that Aston Martin. But the concrete underneath the grass on this track is pretty grippy. So you can go wide on some places, and Maiga is getting very close with Matthias de Munster taking the inside line to defend. And Maiga possibly trying to get up on the inside for turn 2. And all Matthias needs to do is let that car roll, try and keep the inside for turn 3 and live to fight another day. Gonna go on board, everybody, with Maiga and see what he's looking at, chasing down Matthias de Munster. Now on our way to the Pilgrim's Drop. That's that. You go under this sign, you drop back down, and then you go uphill through Whodarron Bend. Very nice corner, especially if you're driving. You flick that car to the right. You try to keep away from. You try to get as close to that right curve, but you do not want to touch it. And then it's the Westfield Bend, and of course here you have Sheens. Westfield Bend and Sheens, part of the track where you can cut the inside of the curb, but if you do it too much, and that car will start bouncing. But Maiga at the moment, he had a opportunity the last lap, but is not getting close enough right now. So for now, we're hopping back into the TV cam, and we're gonna go on our way to Valsinelli, behind Steve Gillies, with Steve Gillies creeping up slowly to M post. It's definitely getting spicy out there, and we do have a couple of battles. We've got P1, P2 and P3 basically trying to fight for P1. We've got Martin Post, Steve Gillies, Valsinelli, and Van der Ven is getting closer and closer. This is going to be a four-man train, everybody. If Valsinelli can close that gap a little bit and Van der Ven can follow, we're going to have a four-way battle for what is in fact P4 as well. Further down the field, we've got Cherry Moore and Vasic very close, or at least the split times say they're close. Gap is still a little bit bigger though. And then through the field, we've got Garrett Anderson just a second away from Leach. And a gap between Varga, Herendich and Macmillan. Another three-way battle over here. Coming up onto the Whodarron Bend. And Mercedes up on the inside, and I believe Herendich lets Macmillan live, or the other way around. Chose the wise decision to just back off with Macmillan on the inside in that 118 Mercedes-Benz. Back to the front, everybody. We've got Matthias de Munster. It does say just 1.5 tenths, but possibly tried to make an overtake, lost a bit of time, and Matthias de Munster driving away with it. But of course, Wilbrink has made a mistake. Also, he's dropping back, and Maarten Post, everybody, was 4 seconds behind Wilbrink and is coming closer and closer. So Maarten Post is actually coming closer to P3, and if these guys behind can follow, I do not want to get you all spiced up or heated up, but if these 4 guys or 3 guys behind him can follow, we are gonna have a 7-man train out in the front with Matthias de Munster then leading. So let's just hope that Marco Post can pull these guys towards Wilbrink and get a massive fight for whatever position in the top 7. Maiga and Wilbrink are just dropping back now. So for the moment we have Vasic in that Chevy just ahead of Cherry Moore, everybody. Cherry Moore, very curious if he can stick that Mercedes front end somewhere next to the Chevy to make a move, possibly coming into turn 1 or turn 2. Turn 1 and turn 2 are the best positions, or you could try of course Surtees or Sheens or the Hawthorne Bend, but I mean, if you want to risk it for the biscuit, be my guest, but I would say turn 1, turn 2, and other than that just try and set up those overtakes if you're really sure of yourself. Needs to get on the charge. He must possibly, but yeah, we are still looking at Cherry Moore and Vasic, but that I've been driving that Chevy on Monza, or I've been testing it on Monza, and that Chevy idling does sound like a proper American muscle car. That little, how do you call that, untuned idle rhythm. I wouldn't say it might be, it is tuned of course, but that non-rhythmic idling is very nice to hear. We do still have Varga, Macmillan and Arendich, everybody. So these 3 guys still very close together, and the closest battle on the track right now. They have just been going through the Westfield Bend, through Dingodale and onto Sheens. Let's hope they're not gonna be going off with Varga just touching that grass, not being able to catch the back end. And of course you're gonna be sliding. Of course you're happy you stayed out of that wall, but yeah, it's Macmillan now ahead of Herendich, and Varga just dropped down to P18. And Garrett Anderson needs to go after Mr. Cherry Moore. Cherry Moore being the fastest bronze on the track right now, with Garrett Anderson P2 for the bronze drivers. But he does have about 3.5, 4, 6.5, 8 seconds to go before he's at the back end of Cherry Moore. In the front though, we have Matthias de Munster, 1.5 seconds clear of Maiga. 1.5 seconds or 1.7 between Maiga and Wilbrink, and the same gap, 1.6, 1.7 for Post to Wilbrink. Then it's Falcinelli also about the 1.5 second mark, and Van der Ven a second behind Falcinelli, with Gillies 4 seconds away. Herendich staying close behind Macmillan, but not close enough for a possible overtaking move. We're gonna go look at the front for a moment, not a moment. We do have Cherry Moore here, everybody, in that Chevy, trying to stay ahead of Leach, and trying to, of course, get close to Vasic, a silver driver. But Cherry Moore being ahead of Leach at the moment should be feeling okay about his rookie status, or rookie bronze status, I would say. But Cherry Moore was far ahead of Garrett Anderson, but 1.5 seconds plus 3.5 in my mind is about 5 seconds at the moment. So Garrett Anderson is trying to get closer to Cherry Moore, Mr. Stollett. These guys though, Macmillan and Herendich. We're gonna go on board, everybody, with Herendich chasing down the silver Mercedes of Herendich, and just see what he's looking at left and right.
We are pushing.
Coming up through Surtees on the straight, and then on our way to the Pilgrims drop again, but not close enough to make a move, but could possibly be getting closer in the last sector of Brands Hatch to try and make a move, T1 or T2, you never know. Onto that concrete area underneath the grass, just outside of the curbs over there. You do have a lot of grip, and over here you can touch that grass a little bit, but barely. As we see in front, somebody going off, and in my mind that is Jamie Lee. Jamie Lee went off and is currently a bit behind Herendich, so Lee just lost 1, 2, 3 positions with that little mistake coming through the Sterling's corner. Herendich not close enough to Macmillan to make a move, but Gap says 3/10 at the moment. We're still around that 1 second, 1.5 second mark, with Wilbrink just falling back further behind from Maiga, and Maiga same falling back further behind from Matthias de Monster. So Matthias de Monster very strong at the moment with 13 minutes left in this race. We have Leach ahead of Cherry Moore right now. So Cherry Moore is losing out, and where is Anderson? Anderson in the Mercedes, Cherry Moore in that Chevy. Anderson is just a little bit too far behind. It is 3.3 seconds right now, so he has made up 1.5 seconds in about 1.5 lap or so. So it's he's on pace to try and contest for the best bronze driver in race 1. There was definitely rain in quali. It was it was damp. The track has been damp with a very light rain in practice and quali. So the track has been green all race. Herendich though back on the chase behind Macmillan, and Herendich does seem to have a little bit more pace than Macmillan, but can't seem to have an opportunity to overtake, or not enough overspeed to try and go for a move. And Stoddard says my boy has got this. It's 3.1, 2/10 he made up, but possibly Cherry Moore is getting nervous, seeing Anderson getting closer and closer, and Anderson just dropped down a little bit time-wise, so Anderson might be on the chase, but pushing himself a little bit too hard right now. Get into that rhythm and try and chase down Cherry Moore for best bronze driver in race 1. Popovic attacking Gillies. Yes, we are. We have a couple of battles on the track, but good that you mention it, and we will be watching Popovic versus Gillies. Gillies in that Ginetta, the yellow Ginetta, and Popovic in that Mercedes AMG just behind, trying to go up on the inside, or outside, I mean, outside into Clark's curve. But Gillies staying it on the inside, and Popovic is gonna... Oh! A touch, and this is Gillies out. Popovic and Gillies had a moment over there with in Clark curve. I believe Popovic tried to just come from a wider line, go to the inside to try and get that line from Gillies, of course. But in doing so, he touched Gillies' car, and Gillies slid off almost into the pit lane and manages to keep it out of pit lane, but yeah, bump into the barriers over there. So very sad to see. Could have been a great battle for P7, and we see Van der Ven getting closer to Valsinelli, everybody. So let's see what that KTM can do, chasing down the BMW of Valsinelli. Just going a little bit wide, and I'm very curious if Van der Ven can put the pressure on for the top 5 finish in race 1. Falcinelli having a little moment over there, but still keeps it on the track. We have a couple of gaps. We've got Garrett Anderson 3 seconds behind Jerry Moore, 2 bronze drivers. We've got Herendich still behind Macmillan. Other than that, we have no major battles going on. The Monster is driving away. My guy's driving away. And Wilbrink is keeping that gap to post at about 1.5 seconds. And Falcinelli and Van der Ven will possibly be battling for the last couple of laps. Van der Ven looks to be getting closer and closer with just 1 or 2 tenths a lap. And then you do have to find a moment or a move to put that car next to Falcinelli or try and make an overtake, but overtaking on Brands Hatch is easier said than done. It's definitely a nighttime race. It's been dark all the time, and we have been going on board quite some times, and the lights help, of course, the headlights. And Herendich is still on the tail, I know, but I'm trying to not miss out. So we're gonna quickly go to Herendich and Macmillan. Macmillan still in P13 with Herendich still chasing down Macmillan, of course, but the gap seems to be getting a little bit bigger. We have 2 battles, or 2 possible battles. We've got Falcinelli versus Van der Ven. We've got Macmillan versus Herendich. And other than that, we have no small gaps. So these 2 battles are the battles we do want to look at. Oh, with Macmillan having a moment. And Herendich closing in very fast. Coming to Sterling's and on their way to the Clark curve. Last corner, however you want to call it, off Brands Hatch. And if Herendich can get the run up on Macmillan, coming into T1, possibly try another line, get up on that inside of T2 or let it roll around the outside if you can. But you have to be very close. You have to be on that bumper. And they are getting closer to Aberdeen as well. Anderson is bringing that gap down. It's sub 2 seconds right now, 1.8, and as soon as we see that gap getting any closer, we've got about a minute 32 for 1 lap, so that's 2 laps, 3 minutes, 4 laps, or possibly 4 or 5 laps to go. Van der Ven and Falcinelli though, 4 tenths. With Herendich and Macmillan also very close, so we're gonna have to make a choice, and we're gonna make the choice for P5, everybody. Falcinelli versus Van der Ven. And of course we're gonna be looking at that gap. Garrett Anderson in P11 chasing down Cherry Moore for P10, as well as P1 for the bronze drivers. Van der Ven, good exit coming out of turn 2. Coming out of turn 2, Van der Ven getting closer and closer, and will Falcinelli keep that BMW on the track? Will he buckle under pressure, or will he just keep on going and keep Van der Ven behind? Post though. And you do love to see it. Post also chasing down Wilbrink, 5 tenths with 4 laps to go. Garrett Anderson was 1.8, is now 1.2, so we do have a couple of battles going on. Van der Ven and Falcinelli though, 3 tenths, so we're gonna be switching it up. If you do have epilepsy, it might be good to tone down the brightness of your screen, or to just look away sometimes, because we will be going through these battles the last couple of laps. With Garrett Anderson coming very close to the back end of that Chevy. Garrett Anderson in that Mercedes, and of course Cherry Moore in the Chevy over there, just ahead. Falcinelli and Van der Ven. Van der Ven still too far away to make a move. Post falling back behind Wilbrink a little bit, so let's get back to Garrett Anderson chasing down Cherry Moore. And P19 is closing in as well, but I would love to focus. We already have 3 battles going on. Post and Wilbrink is over, so we could be possibly going to P19. Chevy versus Ginetta, and that Chevy should be faster on the straight, but the straight is not that long on Brands Hatch, but falling down already. 5/10 right now, so let's head over to Garrett Anderson. Oh, with Cherry Moore feeling that pressure, and Garrett Anderson coming on the outside and passing him before Hawthorne breaking point. Very, very well done. Cherry Moore feeling that pressure, having a little oversteer in that car, touching the grass, trying to go, I would say, coming through 30s, just on the throttle a little bit too much, a little bit of understeer, going wide and touching that grass, not being able to go on the throttle fully, and that's where Garrett Anderson took that position. P10 from Cherry Moore and P1 for the Drops drivers. And now Garrett Anderson needs to extend that gap. We're quickly gonna go look at Falcinelli and Van der Ven. Van der Ven still too far away with 3 more laps to go. Wilbrink though staying ahead of Martin for the moment. And then we have P18 1.3 seconds. Clarville though in that Ginetta, taking the position from oh, this is gonna get spicy everybody. Last turn, cross curve, Chevy versus BMW. Clarville ahead in the Ginetta. Then it's Privet in the BMW in P17 and P18 Croupion in that Chevy. So a 3-way battle with possibly Gillies getting into the mix also. And I believe that Mercedes was Jay Lee having blue flag, so does go out of the way in my opinion. Does not move out of the way. Steve, Gillies and Croupion. And of course we still have M-Post and Van der Ven. Van der Ven very, very close as well. We're quickly gonna be looking. These guys are too far away for a move. You never know, but back to Croupion versus Gillies. Gillies had that unfortunate moment with Popovic. Popovic trying to go a little bit wider line, going into the last corner and trying to get up on the inside of Gillies, but was too close too soon and just bumped Gillies, and Gillies slid off to the right. Garrett Anderson though is extending the gap a little bit. Cherry Moore still very, very close behind him. Not as close as the timetable says, so Garrett Anderson is possibly safe starting their last lap. Gillies has passed Croupion as well, and now it's Gillies who's going to try and chase down Privet. Marble driving away in the Ginetta. But looking at the gap, everybody, we've got M-Post with the last lap going on. Or for these guys, they're going to have to do one more lap, I guess, if my calculations or if my feeling for time on the track is not gonna let me down. These guys will start one more lap, and then it's one more lap of fighting. Same for Van der Ven and Falcinelli. These guys will start their lap also. And it's Croupion behind Privet, but with the last lap starting, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna go to M-Post and Falcinelli. Falcinelli still ahead, but M-Post was ahead for a little bit, as we can see. Wilbrink is possibly gonna be defending this. Van de Ven versus Falcinelli. Falcinelli should be safe if he doesn't do anything crazy. If Wilbrink and Falcinelli do not take a curb too wild or go wide in the last sector of the last lap of race 1, they should be safe. But Brands Hatch is Brands Hatch, and it will never disappoint. Going to Mr. Matthias de Munster, bringing it home in P1, everybody.
The leader has finished the race.
Then we have Maiga in P2, and it's Wilbrink versus Post. Wilbrink coming home in P3 and Post just behind in P4. Then we're gonna go to Falcinelli bringing it home in P5 and Van de Ven in P6, everybody. We've got Popovic driving all on his own tonight after he had that little incident with Gillies. We've got D. Vasic coming home in 8 and G. Leach in P9. Then we've got Garrett Anderson coming through the last corner right now, Clark's curve, and on his way to a P10 finish. First driver on the grid in the bronze category, and Macmillan bringing it home with Cherry Moore even dropping down to 12th, being passed by Macmillan, and Rendich coming home in P13. Then we've got N. Broom in the Aston Martin coming in 14th, and Aberdeen still needing to go through Clark's curve, the last corner of Brands Hatch, in P15. Then we've got Gillies, who is ahead of him, so Gillies will be P15 and Aberdeen in P16. Then it's Privet in the BMW, then it's Krupian in the Chevy, and Benedict Varga. Benedict Varga and R. Smith in P19 or P20. Benedict Varga in P19, R. Smith in P20, G. Clarbull in P21, and then it's Endosen in 22nd and J. Lee in 23rd, with the P. Marston in the pit lane. Has joined later, had possibly have a disconnect. Got spin out. Yes, we do have that on the stream, Gillies. We do have that incident on the stream. So if you do want to watch it back, might be good for later. And I might be a total noob, everybody, but I do see these guys always taking a break between races. The top 3 for you guys has been Matthias de Munster, M. Maiga and Wilbrink for race 1. And honorable mentions are Maarten Post, Falcinelli, of course Van de Ven with his battle. Of course we have Garrett Anderson taking home that P1 bronze position, P10 overall. And of course Gillies coming back to P15, and Macmillan and Herendich had a great race as well. So I'm gonna take a little break. I will put the stream starting intermission on the stream, and then as soon as I know how long the break will be or how long the practice will be, I will be coming back for a quali race 2. But I will be getting myself a drink, and I will see you guys in a little bit. So see you soon. Stream stays on, and we will be back. Alright, everybody, we are back again, and of course, I did grab something to drink for myself, and we are getting ready for race 2. Free practice 2 has been on the way for about 5.5 minutes. We're at the tail end of the practice in between races. We're gonna go qualifying again. We will be maybe, possibly be seeing a little bit of rain, you never know. It is the United Kingdom, of course, and me living in the Netherlands. The weather is, I wouldn't say not that different. It could be sunny, and 5 minutes later we could be having a shower outside. So let's see what's gonna happen on the track. For now, during free practice it's dry. Will there be rain in the quali as we see Croupion coming out of turn 1. A little bit too fast going in, or a little bit too soon on the throttle and understeering off the track. Hello, Mr. Mac. We are doing, or I'm doing fine, and chat is doing fine as well, I believe. So we see a lot of guys in the pit lane, of course, because we already had a free practice, we already had a quali, we already had a 30 minutes race, and a lot of guys will possibly be saving a little bit of energy for that qualification run they're gonna do in about 3 more minutes. And yeah, Brands Hatch, what can we say about it? We've said already anything, but if you've just tuned in, a little bit of info for race 2, everybody. We do not do pit stops, of course, but a drive-through will cost you about 19 to 20 seconds depending on entry and exit, as we see Croupion going off, coming through so excuse me coming through through Sheens, of course. And but talking about the pit stop, drive-through will cost you about 19 to 20 seconds. A 1 liter pit stop takes you about 27 seconds, and with 25 seconds standing time, about 49 seconds, and plus a tire swap you will be at almost the minute mark. But as we see somebody in the chat, that was me. Looking at Valsinelli though, 33.3, and we have seen 32s in the qualification in the last race. But yeah, Brands Hatch, of course. Location is Great Britain, length is 3.9 kilometers and 2.5 miles, 9 turns in a clockwise rotation, and pole starts on the right. And that little text underneath, if you can read it, if you're not watching on a phone, it might be too small, but it talks about how the track started out, how the track is managing, or what kind of races they are doing all year long, I would say. Very, very fun. I've got all these tabs for all the tracks, and it's just a little extra. But looking at Valsinelli, Valsinelli had a great battle with Van der Ven. Van der Ven currently in the pit lane, but Van der Ven and Valsinelli were fighting, and then it was Maarten, Post and Wilbrink. And I believe these two guys know each other in real life, though, so they are a little bit like me and Dutch Buddha. You possibly have seen Dutch Buddha on the track. J-Crack has been there. Brands is fun, and if Brands decides to not like you, you're gonna have a hard time. And that is everybody in the pit lane getting ready for that second qualification. Everybody will possibly be waiting for a rain, and as soon as these guys see the quali popping up, and they're seeing those windshield wipers going from left to right or right to left, however you want to see it, they will be putting on that wet setup that they possibly have ready in their setup list. A little bit of rain on Brands would be fun. A wet track, I won't say flooded. Flooded is not so nice, I would say, but a wet track should be good fun with all these guys.
Green light, green light. Go,
green
go, go.
light, green light. And we're gonna try and see who gets out on track first. And Van der Ven Very, very fast hands, this man. So let's see what he's gonna do. He was the first on track in race 1 and he is the first on track in race 2. So just like we did before, we're gonna follow Van der Ven around. We're gonna try and see this man do the first warm-up lap of quali, and then as soon as we get through the last corner, we will go into the cockpit view and doing a full lap of the first guy doing the first real quali lap. Just gonna have a little look though behind. It's Maiga behind. It's Matthias de Munster just behind that, and then we've got Maarten Post, and a little bit further behind we've got Garrett Anderson. Just behind R. Smith in the Chevy, I believe. But back to Van der Ven. Van der Ven. Maiga get this win. He's gonna have to try and keep Matthias from the win, I guess. But they could both do it, and I don't want to say it, or I do want to say it, but never count Van der Ven. I would say Maarten Post, Falcinelli, or anyone will bring out of this race, but you never know what's gonna happen. Seeing Van der Ven coming through that last corner onto the straight, going into the cockpit view with that nice centered steering wheel in the KTM, and down the Paddock Hill bend for the second turn called through it. And Van der Ven is going to get his game on. He was very, very close behind Falcinelli, and he's going to try and get in front of Falcinelli this race. Something is wrong with the wheel. I don't know what kind of wheel it is, but just to say the standard ICT, how do you say the customer service answer? Did you try turning it on and off again? And up to Hawthorne Bend, everybody. And then this is called the Derek Minter Straight. It's not that I know that personally, but I do have a map, everybody. This is of course the Westfield Bend, and then it's Dingledale, that little dip, and through Sheens. Just had to wait a little bit to go on the throttle coming out of Sheens, and then it's through Sterling's and onto Clark Curve. Let's see what kind of time Van der Ven is going to be putting down. 33 point something would be amazing for the first lap. 33.1 for Van der Ven. Wilbrink 6 seconds behind, and Maiga 32.5. I believe we've seen a 32.2, 32.3 from the monster in race 1. And Matthias Maarten Post is now in P2 for the moment, but of course we still have 6 minutes to go. It's broken. That's very, very disappointing to have just ahead of race 2. But very, very funny. Maiga Herendich was of course a little bit behind, was fighting for what I believe was P15, P16, P14 in the last race, and is now currently with a 545 is just behind P1 at the moment. And Falcinelli 2.5 tenths behind, so also in the 32s already, with Maarten Post closing off that 32 mark, and Matthias de Munster currently in the 33 I'm calculating wrong. Matthias de Munster also in the 32s, and then it's Van der Ven just outside the 32s, still with that 33.1. Matthias de Munster just 112 thousandths of a second behind Maiga at the moment. great to see with Herendich just 25 thousandths or 2.5 hundredths behind P1. So these three guys, P3 or top 3 is very, very close. If you sneeze, they're past. For quite some time. We're gonna go down the field and look at that McLaren from Marta post. We would have loved to see him battle a little bit more, but he just didn't have the overspeed to get close enough for a last lap battle. It was a great battle though, but if you're not close enough to make a move, it is what it is. How sad that may be sometimes. And Van der Ven possibly dropping back down to P8 again. You never know, of course, never say never. Van der Ven is very fast in his own right, in a very unique car. Only KTM on the track. With Maiga going into the 32.2s. Matthias de Munster in P2, just over a tenth behind. And Herendich just under 3 tenths behind. So Marta Post and Herendich still very, very close with just a tenth, and Van der Ven just going off, trying to push that KTM to its limits, and he's got about one more warm-up lap left, and then it's going to be one more last lap wonder, I would say, to try and improve. Popovic just in P8 at the moment, just under 9 tenths away from P1, and Macmillan in P10. Garrett Anderson though tried or did chase down Cherry Moore in the race 1, and is currently ahead of Cherry Moore in the qualification of race 2. These guys are very, very close, and look, as we're talking about it, Garrett Anderson 1.380 behind P1, Cherry Moore 1.380. These guys have just driven the exact same lap time. These guys had a battle, P1 and P2 for the bronze driver category, and the exact same. It's pretty rare to see this exact same lap times everywhere. With the Enbroom in P16 just behind, but anything can happen. We do still have Gillies, who currently has a broken wheel in that we see in the chat. So very, very sad for Gillies. Gillies has just went out of the lobby, everybody, which I can understand. If your wheel is broken, you're not going to be sitting in the pit lane. But Myrus, or Maiga as we would say, is currently still in P1 with Matthias de Munster still over a tenth behind, but you never know. Matthias is on his way, and Matthias can start another lap after this one. So if he can keep pushing and just try and get a little bit of a better exit, a better entry, a little bit mid-corner speed, he could be just taking P1 from Maiga. But do you want to risk it? I mean, you do have your time already, but do you want to risk pushing so hard and not being able to do a last lap anymore, basically? I have to go back to the pit lane, not starting a last lap, you never know. Very small gaps though, everybody. We've got tenths, we've got hundreds, we've got all down through the whole field. The only bigger gap that we have currently is P12 to P13, which is about 3.5 tenths. Other than that, all tenths and a couple of hundreds, and the gaps start getting bigger the further you go down the field. But everybody, I would say, in the top 19 is very, very close time-wise. 19, P1, 1.9 seconds, averages about 1/10 per position. That's easy math, guys. Easy math. With Matthias de Munster, everybody, 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Maiga. Maiga is still on track, has started his last lap though. Can Maiga improve? It's just 4 thousandths of a second. With with Matthias de Munster again in P1 for race 2. Herendich is in the pit lane already in P3, and Herendich was fighting with Macmillan. Herendich did have a floppy bonnet, so he could have possibly got some damage last race that he was not able to drive the times that he would have loved to drive. But currently Herendich P3 with Maarten Post in P4, Wilbrink in P5. Maarten Post was behind Wilbrink last race, so these guys have switched positions. Falcinelli and Van der Vendo, same fighting order, so we could possibly be seeing a fight between P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6 and P7, like we hoped last race. 7 guys, a 7-man train switching positions for half an hour long. That would be absolute cinema, and let's hope it happens. But just to not spice it up too much, a 3-man fight, 4-man fight, 2-man fight is of course very, very good as well. As we see Maiga just having a little bit of oversteer in that Mercedes, and not being able to get that 0.004 of an improvement to get that P1 start of race 2. And that's Wilbrink also in the pit lane. Van der Ven is in the pit lane. We've got Popovic. Just see if he improves. Did not improve, and that's quali done for the second race, everybody. We have Matthias de Munster in P1, Maiga in P2, Herendich in P3 and M Post in P4. We've got Wilbrink in P5, Falcinelli in 6 and Van der Ven in P7. Then we've got G Leach in P8 and G Clarbel in P9, with Macmillan finishing off that top 10. We've got Vasic in 11, Popovic in 12, J Lee in 13th and Aberdeen in 14th, everybody. Then we've got Cherry Moore, who just got ahead of Anderson. Again, these guys had the exact same lap time, but Cherry Moore just managed to squeeze out a little bit more time, with Enbroom in 17th and Endozen in 18th. We've got the 19th position for Croupion in that Chevy. 2 Chevys behind each other could be exciting, with Benedek Varga in the Ginetta in P20 and Marsden in the Aston Martin in P21. We've got R. Smith in 22nd and Privet in 23rd, with T here, me being the only silly person in an M2 in the pit lane. Smallest car you can get, smallest blockage of view, I would say. But very, very exciting to start this race. And we have, of course, already showed it the last race, but we're gonna do it again. We are now at round 2 of the Whodarron Cup at Brands Hatch. Next week there's gonna be round 3 at Kyalami. Very, very nice track, I would say, with the barbecue, the crocodiles, the cheetah, all these kind of corner names. It's a very, very fast flowing track with some nice S's, downhill, uphill, slow turns, and tricky curbs and sausages, I would say. So next week, Kyalami, everybody. And we're getting ready for the warm-up lap. So we're going to Mr. de Munster. We're gonna go and get that little grid view going again. And he did that the first race as well. Just step on the gas. You see all these cars sliding wide because of that camber on the straight. Just take him to the steward's room after. I think they won't mind. But possibly a very, very exciting start, everybody. We've got a lot of very close times in the top 5, top 6, top 7. So these guys at the front, they could be making it a very, very spicy in the first couple of laps or the first couple of turns. Like we say, you never know. As we're in the warm-up lap, everybody, I'm gonna get myself a. I mean, smoking is not cool, but I am. You probably heard it, heard the lighter going already a couple of times, but smoking is not cool. So don't be me. Don't be a broadcaster. Just be yourself and go to the gym. And don't vape either. It's very bad for your health. Guys are coming up on the last corner. We've said it already so many times. Clark's curve, everybody. Last corner. The nice thing about this on speed or at speed, you can really turn that car in. Just let it, I would say, not understeer. That's bad for your tires, of course, but just let it go towards the inside and then on the throttle, down the dip. Let that car run wide again, and or try to stay on the inside if you do have a very, very good exit. But we're gonna go into the helicam, everybody, and we're gonna get ready. Green, 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 everybody. Ready for race 2. And let's see what's gonna happen in turn 1. These guys. And we do not like to see crashes, but you never know what's gonna happen, especially at turn 2, everybody. And we do have a little incidents. People touching each other, people. It's bumper cars coming out of T2, everybody, and the rest of the field does seem to be in a pretty good fighting order, I would say. Matthias the Munster is currently in P2, everybody. So Micah took P1 from Matthias the Munster. Rench still in P3. M-Post still in P4. No, M-Post still in P4, and Wilbrink has lost the position to Valsinelli, with Van der Ven staying in P7. And behind these guys, we've got Cherry Moore, who was just ahead of Garrett Anderson. Garrett Anderson has been falling back through the field. We're gonna focus for now on Matthias the Munster, right bang smack in the middle between Maiga and Harendic. And then as soon as the race starts cooling down and we do have a couple of battles going on, we will be going to watch these battles. Because if we keep switching now, everybody's gonna have an epileptic attack and everybody will be gone from the broadcast. At the moment, it's Matthias de Munster trying to chase down Maiga to get that P1 position back. And Harendic, no damage, so he could be trying to stay behind Matthias de Munster. And Matthias de Munster could be pulling him forward away from post, possibly. At the moment, it's Maiga comfortably ahead, so if he does not make any mistakes, if he does not go wide, if he does not touch too much of the curb on the inside and bounces out, he should be fine. But Matthias de Munster stays close. We're going to go a little bit more to the back, everybody. We have Valsinelli right in the middle between two Dutch guys, M-Post and Wilbrink. That BMW though, you don't see it a lot in the GT4 races. I'm very curious how it's driving though. Beach. Just ahead of Macmillan and just behind Benedek and Varga. Garrett Anderson is coming closer to Macmillan as well, so we could be having a nice little battle. Garrett Anderson though, a little bit of an open route, so did have a incident of course. Turn 2 possibly was a incident with the first lap. Aberdeen also a little bit of an incident. But look at these guys, Maiga still ahead. And Matthias de Munster very close behind. So this is where we want to be, with Herendich closing that gap and getting into the mix. Then you have Maarten Post and Falcinelli getting closer and closer as well. This is the battle that we're gonna be looking at for a little bit, everybody. Let the rest of the race calm down a little bit, and then let's hope these guys, 3-way battle, 4-way battle, 5-way battle, 5 cars into one image right now. It's Maiga in P1. The Monster being the second BMW, and the third BMW, the second Mercedes, and then we have the third Mercedes being a Herendich. We've got Maarten Post in that McLaren, and we've got Falcinelli in the BMW. So a nice mix-up of cars, except for the first 3 guys. With Van der Ven possibly with Wilbrink together, possibly going on the chase behind this group, and then we do have those 7 cars at the front battling. Matthias de Munster and Maiga at the moment trying to make a show. We did not see any overtake tryouts, overtake moves yet, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, because Matthias de Munster is very close behind Maiga. Matthias de Munster trying to look around the outside. We're gonna go on board, everybody, with Matthias de Munster, see what he's looking at. Trying to chase down Son Myers. Son Myers or Maiga in this regard. Gonna prepare another camera, everybody. Back to the cockpit cam. But as soon as we touch that button, we're gonna be on the spoiler cam with Matthias de Munster, trying to see what Herendich is doing behind it. A little bit more speed for Matthias coming out of Hawthorne Bend, very close behind Maiga, and needs to dab on the brakes, go straight a little bit, and is now trying to defend from Herendich. Looking at Herendich behind Matthias de Munster right now. As soon as we're through this corner, we're going back to the cockpit view. It's definitely feisty up front, and we're very curious, or I am very curious what these 3 in the front can do. They're driving away from M Post, Maarten Post, but behind them, and we're gonna take a quick look. Falcinelli between Maarten Post and Wilbrink, and Wilbrink is gonna try and close that gap, of course, and Van der Ven is trying to get pulled up to the front to make this another 4-way battle. So we have a group of 3 and a possible group of 4 forming behind, so very interesting. But it's 3 Mercedes up front, so Mercedes on top tonight. Hello, Mr. Brian. Yeah, I'm doing good. The guys in the chat are doing good, I believe. So everybody is having their fun tonight. And Herendich is just dropping down a little bit. But P1 and P2 is still very much going on, and between those guys, or behind those guys, we have Martin Post just keeping that gap to Valsnelle. I would say about the same, maybe extending a little bit, but Wilbrink behind is also not coming close to Valsnelle. Very, very fast. Oh, moment for Wilbrink, and that's Van der Ven going past, and this is gonna be a massacre. That's D Vasic driving into Wilbrink, and all these guys are gonna have to make room for all these cars getting past. All these guys need to go past, and they do see a gap. They're trying to go, but cars are coming up fast through this corner. It's good they're going, but it's good they're trying to stay up on the inside over there. But Wilbrink does have damage and is having to let go past a lot of cars. But very, very unlucky moment for Wilbrink, and very, very unlucky for D Vasic getting, well, straight up into Wilbrink in the side. A lot of damage, and let's see if Wilbrink is gonna be bringing that car into the pits as well. Yes, he does. Too much damage, and as we have seen all that happening, we have Matthias de Munster in P1 having passed Maiga. Maiga possibly had a moment because Herendic is in P2, Post is in P3, Maiga is now in P4. So Maiga dropped down 3 positions and just ahead of Valsnelle right now. So if Maiga does want to get back into the fight for the podium, he's gonna have to get closer to Post. Hello, Flitserflop. But yeah, Maiga needs to make up some time to Post, and then we have Valsnelle close behind Maiga, and I do hope Maiga did not hit a wall or anything, so that he does not have damage to the suspension. Bodywork you can work with, I would say, but suspension damage is very, very rough, especially on Brands Hatch, with a lot of corners that you're really leading into that suspension. Wilbrink Wilbrink had a moment coming out of Sheens, went wide, touched the grass, had a moment of honesty, tried to correct, spun out, and Vasic hit him head on into the side basically. So these two, Wilbrink did not take anyone out on purpose, I would say, as a commentator, but he was in somebody's way, or somebody couldn't avoid him anymore, and they did have an incident. But Popovic chasing down Cherry Moore, and where is Mr. Garrett Anderson? Garrett Anderson is about 2.8 seconds behind Cherry Moore. It was 3.5, 4 seconds, or at one point even 8 seconds the last race. So Garrett Anderson could be trying to chase down Cherry Moore again, and getting points for that bronze category of drivers. And as soon as Matthias de Munster has been passed Maiga, of course, possibly had an incident, but is now extending from Herendic. Herendic is trying to stay ahead of Post, but the gap is still 8 tenths. And Maiga to Post as well, 8 or 9 tenths, as we just see an update in the split times. Valsnelle though, getting closer and closer to Maiga. So instead of looking down the field, we're going to be looking at a P4 battle. Garrett, we see in the chat. I would say, come on, Maiga, get back to the podium if you can. But being Dutch, seeing Mr. Post in P3, that's not bad as well. But Herendic, I'm still figuring out, is it Herendic? Is it Eastern European? Is it English? I do not know. I do know Maiga is from Eastern Europe, or not completely, I would say Central Europe. And rest, Popovic sounds easy work as well, talking about names and what you can think about. But looking through the field, we've got Popovic coming close to Cherrymore, and that Chevy does sound amazing. You do hear that the Mercedes, of course, but the Chevy does sound pretty badass. Nick Broom or N Broom, I'm just gonna call it. I do have a tendency to just make up names. It might be Nick, it might be something else, but Nick Broom just behind R. Smith, and R. Smith just goes wide in that Chevy, and that's an easy pass to P14 for the N Broom, and N Docent just behind, stays behind R. Smith. And Clarborough was pretty fast in qualifying, I believe, P11, P10. And is now back to P17, so possibly had some issues during the first lap with that turn 2 incident. Marsden Wilbrink is of course back to P21, and Vasic P18. And Munster is definitely flying, was behind Maiga, and Maiga had an incident or a moment on its own, I believe, and as soon as Munster was free of Maiga and Maiga was gone from in front of him, he has just been flying away from Herendik. So Herendik is not on the pace of the Munster tonight. But Post is getting closer and closer to the back of that Mercedes from Herendik. So let's see what's going to happen. We're going to stay here for a while. We're going to ignore the other battles for a moment, if there are any battles. 8/10 is about approximately. So closest guys on track, Herendik and Post. Fight for P2. As we see Falcinelli and Maiga in the background. Gonna go on board, everybody, with Marta Post. They are still a little bit further apart than what we would love to see, but I do want to spice it up with a couple of different camera views. So on board with Marta Post, currently in P3, chasing down Herendik. And look at the speed of that McLaren, everybody. Unbelievable. Little bump, little kiss on the rear bumper. Bren, I'm new here, but I would say they are close to Manchester, or fans of Manchester, or they live in Manchester, but somebody else will do the explanation while I look at Marta Post and chasing down Herendik. Gave him a little kiss on the rear bumper. He did have a little bit of unbalance coming up the Hawthorne bend, the uphill right-hander after the Pilgrim's drop, and Marta Post had to back off a little bit to let him settle down and not crash him, basically. But look at Marta Post. They're seeing a Mercedes a little bit ahead of them. We're gonna take a little look. That must be Macmillan, and it is. Marta Post getting closer and closer, but look at Falcinelli. Falcinelli is closing that gap because he's fighting with Herendik, and Maiga is getting into the mix as well. So Matthias de Munster in P1 is driving away, and then we've got Herendik and Post now close together, but Falcinelli and Maiga are trying to make it a four-way battle. So oh, and the Hawthorne bend again. Marta was close behind here last lap, and gave him a little kiss on the rear bumper, but tried it along the outside, had to back off before he was going wide, and that gives Falcinelli the opportunity to get even closer and make it a three-man train right now, with Maiga just behind 4 cars. 2, 3, 4 and 5 all captured. Oh, and Herendik having a moment, going wide, sliding off, and this is Marta Post's moment, getting ahead before Clark Curve and being the first to go onto the straight. it's Herendik now, possibly not looking forward, but backwards to Falsinelli and Maiga. Maiga on the inside of Falsinelli, but Falsinelli has the next turn to the left, the inside line. Maiga just backs off, and will try and survive to get a better exit from turn 3. Get it up on the inside for Surtees, but not gonna happen. And Van der Ven has closed that gap because these guys are fighting, making small mistakes, needing to back off from battling or sliding off. Van der Ven is now behind Maiga and 3-man train. Struggling, it would seem. I think Maiga is really pushing it. You can see him just oversteering, managing, trying to manage the pace, but I think he's needing to push harder than he would love to. But he is, of course, trying to get back to those podium positions. Going back through the field though, Popovic getting closer to Lee. Lee in the Mercedes. Popovic getting a good exit from Sterling's. Popovic does not have enough speed. T1 and T2 is a possibility though. Popovic up on the inside, turn 2 everybody, but we know turn 3 goes to the left and these guys are door banging, a little bit of paint trading. A little kiss never hurt anybody, I would say, but yeah, Lee is going wide. Popovic has the better exit and the inside line, and just brake a bit on time. Keep that inside close, do not get a switchback coming up onto the straight. Oh, little moment for Popovic, losing speed coming up on the straight. What is Lee gonna do? Going down the Pilgrim's Drop and getting ready for Hawthorne Bend, uphill to the right. Popovic inside, Lee on the outside. Oh, I was gonna say, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make it? Lee stays out of the barriers though, but Popovic still ahead. Popovic still ahead, and Lee has just fallen back a little bit. We're gonna go quickly to Falsinelli and Maiga, everybody. Maiga has found his way to the back side of the BMW from Falsinelli. Let's just see what's going to happen. Van der Ven has backed off a little bit. Has lost a little bit of pace with, I believe, still Macmillan. Is that Macmillan still behind Van der Ven? Yes, it is. So Maiga and Falsinelli. The battle we want to see at the moment. The Munster is flying away in P1. Rendic is trying to get closer to Marta Post, but Falsinelli and Maiga is where it's at, guys. And Garrett Anderson to Cherry Moore, about 1.2 seconds. So this is something we want to keep watching at the moment, just on the split times. Cherry Moore versus Garrett Anderson. Of course, Garrett Anderson is still going to have to pass the Leach before he can get to Cherry Moore. Gonna go on board, everybody, with Maiga. See what he's looking at, chasing down that BMW from Falsinelli. Anderson might be doing it again. Yes, indeed. He might be being the first bronze driver again. With 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. And one lap is about 1:32, so 3 minutes, 2 laps. 4 laps with a little bit of 5 laps to go, I would say. 5 laps to go on Brands Hatch. Maiga though, trying to put pressure on Valsinelli, but Valsinelli had pressure from Van der Ven the whole race, in race 1 of course, but he didn't budge. And will he budge now with that fast Polish guy behind him? Are we doing interviews? I don't know if these guys will come into the comms box, yes or no. Do we have a separate channel? First broadcast over here, so do not know if we get interviews. And what did you train them to say, Stoddard? Are they like football players now? Yes, no, I don't know, well, maybe. You never know, huh? Anything can happen. Some standardized answers for all interviews. With Maiga just keeping it on the track, running wide, coming out of the last corner. But Anderson is... Look what happened, everybody. While we were talking too much, we have missed Anderson passing Leach and Cherrymore. Did these guys have a run-in together, or did they make a mistake? But Anderson is all of a sudden 2.7 seconds ahead, and about 5-6 seconds ahead of Cherrymore, while he was first 1.2 seconds behind. So we did miss something. We did miss something. Doesn't do stand Anderson, no, and he does drink a little bit of cider with it, I guess. But with that battle from Anderson gone, we do have, of course, more guys on the track than Maiga, but Maiga is still very, very close behind Valsinelli. Just jump in the comms box after the race. All right. Well, let's just if somebody can put an announcement for the drivers in the Discord to for the podium guys, even if you're first in your class or something, but at least the top 3 for the overall race positions, and maybe some great guys like Anderson, who has done the same trick in 2 races in a row. Maybe Macmillan just going off, having a pretty good race with Herendich, and let's see what we can see. Is it apple cider, Stoddard? Is it apple cider? But Maiga still behind Valsinelli, can't seem to find a way around that BMW. And like I say, I'm not very experienced with the BMW. I would say it's pretty fast in a straight line, with the Mercedes not getting close, but it does seem to be pretty overall in the GT4 class as well, just like the GT3. And the Monster still 3.5 seconds ahead of Post, with about 2 laps to go. Behind Anderson again, but Cherrymore is losing it. Is 6 seconds behind Anderson. So Anderson, bronze #1 on the track, with Leach just going wide, coming through Hawthorne Bend, and losing a little bit of time to Anderson. So Anderson doing a great business, staying ahead of Leach, a gold driver if I'm not mistaken. And Maiga is stuck on that 3/10 to 5/10 gap behind Valsinelli, going wide, coming into turn 2, and I think this is Maiga trying to do his best, trying to push that Mercedes as hard as he can to try and get a little bit of time in, with Van der Ven in P6, comfortably in P6. I believe what I just saw, 23 seconds ahead of Popovic, if I saw that correctly. Maiga is losing time, trying to push that Mercedes so hard. And where is the monster, everybody? The monster is going to start one more lap for us, I believe. And Leach is now 3 tenths, 4 tenths behind Garrett Anderson. I believe that's the same sponsor that started as apple cider. Leader on the final lap, everybody, and we do have post 4.4 seconds behind. Herendich is trying to close that gap. Was 1.5 seconds, I believe. It's now 1.1. And Maiga 1 second behind Falcinelli with Van der Ven 1.2. So gaps at the front are about all over a second, or around the second mark. Then it's the gap from Van der Ven to Potter, which is very large. And Leach is is faster than Anderson, but keeps making mistakes. So Leach is trying to get closer, trying to get that P8 position back, but not capable at the moment. And another gap we have over here is Aberdeen in P12 and Clairvaux just behind. Two Ginettas chasing each other down. But we're gonna go to the front, everybody. We have Matthias de Munster in his last lap. Right now, and that could either be Croupion or Jerry Moore, or maybe even R. Smith, everybody. It's R. Smith, but we're gonna go to Matthias de Munster, bringing it home in P1 again in P2, or in race 2. So that's P1 for Matthias de Munster. Marta Post in P2, Herendich in P3. We have Falcinelli staying ahead of Maiga, has been under pressure for a long time. It's Maiga crashing off with Van der Ven, bringing it home in P6, and then it's a long way to Mr. Popovic in P7, of course, with Garrett Anderson staying ahead of Leach as well. But here comes Popovic, everybody. P7 finish for him, and here is Garrett Anderson, and Leach does pass him, so Leach is gonna finish ahead of... No! Yes, Leach is gonna finish ahead of Anderson, and it's Anderson in 9th, it's Jerry Moore in P10, and then it's Croupion in the Chevy. Croupion in the Chevy indeed in P11, and just over here we saw Clairvaux coming home in 12th, with Aberdeen bringing it home in 13th, and then we have Andrew coming over the finish line in P14, and Lee just behind in the Mercedes in 15th, with Dosen through the last corner in that Chevy, with another Chevy of R. Smith in 17. Then we have Vasic, everybody, I would say, but Vasic has left the race already. And this is it, guys, the finish of race 2. Your podium is Matthias de Munster, Marta Post, and M. Herendich, with Falcinelli an honorable mention, Maiga an honorable mention, and Van der Ven. But Gary Anderson and Jerry Moore, these guys. Gary Anderson started behind Jerry Moore in both races, but finishes ahead. So another qualifying beast, but does have the pace in the race. Of course, we have seen Gillies falling out, or disconnecting or leaving the race because of a broken wheel, and Macmillan sadly in P21. We have seen him a lot these two races, but yeah, race is over. If we do have drivers that do want an interview, we can do that. You can hop into the comms box, and I believe the comms box is also included into the stream, so everybody should be hearable. Thank you, Mr. Mac. I hope you definitely enjoyed. And instead of looking at a wheel, we're just gonna be trying to look at a lonely M2 possibly in the pit lane in a bit. And here we have someone already. Podium per class, all right. Let's see who joined. I do have Mr. Dabbing Llamas.
Hello.
Hello. Are we doing this in Dutch, Llamas, or shall we keep it English?
I think we should better keep it English.
We're gonna wait for someone else. We have Mr. Maarten in here as well. Guys, we're gonna do these interviews in Dutch, and then we're gonna switch over to English. Yes.
Just keep it in English, mate.
But let's wait for Mr. I would say overall podiums. Let's wait for Mr. Herendich if he's gonna be joining. But just for starters, guys, feeling about the first. Let's start with Maarten. Feeling about the first race.
Oh, it was a handful, mate. It was really difficult trying to get the McLaren around the corners. On the straights, yeah, it's easier to catch the cars, but yeah, and in the corners and the braking zones, I saw all the headlights behind me just gaining like madmans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really struggling on this track, but I really enjoyed it. I'm glad it didn't rain.
yeah, glad it didn't rain, but the second race went a lot better, man.
It did. Yeah, the first race I wasn't in focus, didn't have enough focus. Second race it was much better.
At one point, I think we saw you coming through the fourth corner onto the straight. You were, I believe, outside of Mr. Herendich, I believe, and you gave him a little kiss on the rear bumper. The next lap, you were on the outside.
Yep. We touched a little bit. We touched a little bit in that corner. I backed off a little bit. Didn't want to cause him to spin. Then after that, he made a little mistake coming up to the final corner before start finish, and there I could get him. And yeah, after that it was full send.
Full send indeed. And in your rear view mirror, did you at one point see your friend and a partner in crime, Mr. Wilbrink, slide off just touching the grass, or did you miss that?
I didn't see it, but I did hear it. I was in a party with him, so yeah, I could hear what happened.
Yeah, I would have guessed so, and he got hit pretty hard in the side. But yeah, I would say first. Was it the first podium? Yeah, because last race on the Whodarron you had some issues, I believe, with the dry tires. I guessed.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
No, don't talk about it. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it in the last week. But Llamas, Mr. P1 today.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say the whole different thing. I wanted it to rain, but it didn't. I did so much rain practice on this track, and it was only just dry, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. Had an amazing fight with Maiga.
Yeah.
The races were amazing. I still don't like brands, but I like racing in brands. I don't like qualifying here. I don't like practicing here. But the moment the race starts, it's always entertainment. And then Maarten came back up to me, race 2. I kept looking at what you call it, like the delta of the other people. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I see this guy coming up. I'm like, I gotta go faster. I really gotta go. He done this to me in other leagues too much. I ain't letting it happen again. It was amazing. But I'm glad it's over with brands, to be honest.
You do know my opinion about it. I won't say it again on the stream. We've talked about it too much already. But what happened between you were chasing down Maiga. We went to another battle and we missed the whole issue with Maiga. Did he have an incident? Did he have a moment on its own with the whole top 4 basically passing him?
Let me do some math. So the third last corner, the one where you really cut the curb on the right really hard, like the uphander.
Yeah.
Like he hit the grass on the left just a tiny bit, and that like offset everything. But up until then, the fighting was amazing, and I wanted him to win that one because he was driving like a maniac. He was driving so good.
Yeah, he was flying, and you guys were so close. We do have it on the stream as well, but Herendich, P3 behind you, Maarten, was he's not in the interview room, of course, but Herendich was was much faster than race 1 as well, and he was giving you a hard time at some moment, I believe.
He really was, yeah. Yeah, I saw him gaining on me, as the monster said. Looking at the deltas, I saw him coming. Yeah, I was sweating.
Definitely sweating. Valsinelli was pretty fast as well, and Van der, like, we've seen so many great things, and I do see, of course, Mr. Garrett Anderson has joined as well, but we're going to stay with Lamas for just a little bit longer, because Lamas, you did have P1 in both qualies, I believe, and the first race you were ahead all the time. You lost a position to Maiga. Did you have an incident? Did you have to go wide? Did he just stick his nose up on the inside in T2? Because we were going down the field to see what was happening, and we were kind of stuck on a little incident back in the back of the midfield between some cars coming out of T2. So how did you lose P1 in the second race?
Yeah, he just had a better start, and with most of these races, same as the last time with the M2s, if you start next to the same guy, you already did that thing. You already know how he's going to react to it. And Maiga knows me a little bit too well, and he knows I can really mess up my starts if he sends it on me, and that's just what he did. He kept it super clean. He just went over me, and it was a perfect start from him and a little less from me.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I thought you might have had a little bit too wide of an exit T1, but like I said, we couldn't see it all because we were going down the field. But you kept extending after you were P2 at first. Of course, Maiga fell back, so that is easy if you have a clear track in front of you. But still good to extend to about, what was it at first? 4 seconds, and then Marta came back, or 4.5, came back to 3 or 2 point something.
Yeah, I think something like that. My pace was slowing down, like most people, your pace just starts slowing down, the tires start being annoying. And then I saw the name pop up, and I was like, I gotta go faster. I gotta keep this delta going. And it's so sketchy on this track because you think you have it, and all of a sudden you're gonna hit a wall.
Yeah, definitely. And
it's a shame you cannot see the tires on the stream. The right tires, like they never got hot. I don't know in the McLaren or whatever, but those right tires, they were just never doing anything. It's insane in this cold.
That would be very, very good. Also to see how much fuel anybody has, but I would say then you're gonna see too much info on the stream or on the broadcast, and people will be, of course, I think for endurance races with teams or anything, people watching a broadcast will use that to their advantage. But that's another thing. We're not gonna talk about that now. It would be good to see though. Mr. Anderson.
Hello, mate. How's things?
How was it in the Matrix?
Here, I tell you what, that was a war of attrition. I just survived. Pace was consistently average, to be honest. But yeah, let the guys in front of me make their mistakes and managed my way around both races, tried to keep it as clean as possible and just finish the races as high up as I could. So yeah, delighted, absolutely delighted.
You fell back, and I believe at one point you were 8.5 seconds back from Cherrymore in the first race, and with about 3-4 laps to go, you made the move and extended.
Yeah, put the head down and give it as much as I could. I think Cherrymore did have a bit of an incident that might have slowed him down. He certainly did in the second race. And the hairpin right is at turn 3, turn 2. I don't know if that's classed as 2 turns between one and the uphill. But he did end up backwards there, so that sort of gifted me the place in the second race. And I think he sort of had a bit of a nudge in the first race as well to slow him down a little. But yeah, delighted. Good strong cupper's choice before I got on the stream and put my head down, tried to keep it clean, just finish the race as high up as I could.
I guess you didn't have any apple cider before today's race, or
no ciders, just coffee. Just my good friend Dead Drop and his cupper's choice before we went on to the stream and went on racing.
Yeah. And second race, we missed it because we were looking at another battle. But at one point you were 1.2 seconds behind Cherrymore. Something happened, and all of a sudden he fell back behind Leach, and you were about 6 seconds ahead of him. What happened? Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so it happened in front of me. Leach was gaining pace on me very quickly after he went off a few laps earlier. I let him by because there was no point in me trying to race him. Both of us go off track, so I sort of let him go because he had the lap time on me. And then I think Cherry just tried to sort of cut the corner tight, and again on that uphill right-hander at the start in sector 1, and he lost the back of the car, and Leach had nowhere else to go, but ended up parked into his passenger side door, and I obviously was able to take advantage of it. So yeah, unfortunately for him, it was a bit of a spin.
The steering wheel is on the left side, of course. That might help.
Yes, the wrong side. Yes, that's correct.
And race two with Leach. We were looking at Leach, and I kind of thought Leach wasn't gonna come close to you anymore, but he took your P8, P7 in the last corner, I believe.
Mate, I knew he had me the whole last couple of laps of that race. He had the pace on me, and I knew he had. I was just hoping that he wouldn't have got round me in the last turn, but GG's to him. He deserved it. What was it, 4/400ths of a second or something like that, split us across the line. Well done him.
Yeah, definitely. But it was good fun to watch, because we were, even though we were looking at a very, very close race at the front with Maarten, with Lamas, with Maiga, all these guys, yeah, they were having a great battle. But we were looking at the split times, and a lot of guys in the chat actually said, not just the momentum guys, but a lot of guys in the chat said Anderson is doing very, very good. This guy is driver of the day. So I would say,
no way.
Don't stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine, but put that driver of the day thing next to your rig, I would say, and on to Kyalami next week.
I appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to it. Like Kyalami, just never done it in the GT4, so an interesting turn up for the books there, and we'll see how it goes.
Yep, definitely. And then, yeah, I would say, guys, to you, Lamas, to Maarten, to you, Garrett. It was nice having you in the comms box for a little interview. I hope you guys had as much fun as I had on the first broadcast over here, and then on to the next one.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. I'll look forward to watching it back.
Thanks for the and see you next time.
All right,
have a good one,
guys, next time, and have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye. And guys, with that interview being all over and you guys in the chat, first broadcast on SimPlay. Of course, I did do some broadcasting before, but first broadcast on SimPlay. In between moving places, I was lying on the couch. Just got home when I saw Matthew Duffin's message. Tynus, do you have time? Well, yeah. I'm a bit knackered, but yeah, I do have some time. So let's just get everything ready and let's do this. So yeah, I'm gonna start the outro, everybody, the stream ending. And I do not know if there's a timer, but we're gonna start it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for yeah, making the chat lively. And yeah, stream will be ending. I will put it off a little bit after, and then I would say back to your normal commentators next week, and maybe I will be a reserve for another time. So have a good one, everybody. Make it a nice evening, and see you next time. Commentator of the day. Let's go. But yeah, like I said, peace.